Did you like Andrew Garfield in No Way Home? That's a rhetorical question. Of course you fucking did. He was amazing. And if, or really because, the majority of people are of the same opinion, we all want to see him back again, especially after all the redemption he got in No Way Home, how much fun he was having back as the character of Spider-Man, and in turn how much fun we as the audience had that we wouldn't have gotten. And the fact that his franchise got stopped so abruptly, we never really got as much of Andrew Garfield Spider-Man as we should have. Now, a while ago, I was totally on board for giving him a third The Amazing Spider-Man film, but as I've sat on that idea, I don't know if that's the move anymore, guys. If I'm being honest, we already have a new Spider-Man to focus on, and I'd hate to take away any of that focus from Tom. Although he is taking a break from acting before the next trilogy starts, it would seem a perfect time, right, to release another movie for a different Spider-Man, but I honestly don't think that should happen anymore. Let's face it, Sony as of late has been making some pretty dogshit movies, okay? Venom, Venom 2, Morbius will more than likely be ass, Craven might be pure cancer as well, so I really don't trust them without Marvel Studios input, and there could be a serious oversaturation problem as well, okay? We wouldn't want Andrew to take away any of the opportunities to face new villains from Tom for the risk of taking away the impact from when Tom actually meets them, if he ever does, okay? We want Tom to have more villains that are uniquely his own, like Vulture, like Shocker, or Mysterio. As of right now, Sony's building their own like villains universe in a way, and although it sucks, they more than likely are building towards an altercation between Tom and them. But where does that leave Andrew and Toby for that matter? Because guys, I'm pretty damn sure this is not the end, okay? Tom wouldn't have said see ya in No Way Home if this was the end, and we wouldn't be getting a Madam Web movie if that were the case, because that's realistically how we're gonna see them all together again, and that's probably what the plan is. Like, why the fuck else would you have a Madam Web movie if not to do that? Unless you have a serious case of the donkey brains, which could always be the case when you're dealing with Sony, but for this particular case, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Also, players, just to announce, Sydney Sweeney is going to be in that Madam Web movie, so you already know my ticket is reserved. I don't know if she'll be Black Cat, but nonetheless, we won, players, we won. Anyways, I've been thinking about how they could use Andrew in the meantime and what they could do uniquely with his character to properly service him and his story before eventually saying goodbye. So that's what this video is going to be about, what to do with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man after No Way Home. I'm just gonna give some of my thoughts and ideas on, you know, storylines that I'd like them to take inspiration from and certain things I'd like to see with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, because this might not be the end for his Spider-Man, but eventually, like with all things, the end will come, and I want to make sure Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, the character, is given the proper treatment before he does eventually leave. But before we get into all that, make sure to support your boy by hitting that sub button, turning on your notifications so YouTube can't hide my videos from y'all, leave a thumbs up, follow my social medias. Spider-Man Blue, anybody? So we've already established another movie isn't really the move, so what would be the point of bringing back Andrew's Spider-Man? And when I think of that, I think of two things mainly. I think we all want to see Andrew get some proper closure. We saw him get redemption by catching MJ, but I think in his own world, there are still problems he has to overcome within himself and things he has to accept and move on from. I think Spider-Man as a character has always been an allegory for life. Get knocked down, but eventually get back up and roll with the punches, because that's what life is all about. That's all we can really do in life. I imagine even after such a crazy experience as the one in No Way Home that he had, that probably changed him profoundly, he'd have gone back home and probably been in a similar state to when he had left, only focusing on being Spider-Man and not making time for Peter Parker stuff. He hasn't moved on yet from Gwen, and I think the next arc for Andrew, we'd see him deal with Gwen's loss, but also move on from it and finally be able to get with MJ. I think they should take a lot of inspiration from Spider-Man Blue and really say that this kind of a feeling of grief will always stay with you no matter what, but life goes on, and that's the important message. Life goes on. But where exactly would you tell that story if not given another movie to tell it for that character? You do something similar to what the MCU did with the Hulk. Now, I know what you guys are saying. A lot of people hated what they did with the Hulk, but hear me out. Hulk's arc, since Universal wasn't playing ball with Marvel for the better part of a decade, that's why no Hulk movies were coming out, because Universal owns the rights, and Universal basically said F you to Marvel Studios and Disney. They had to use other movies to let Hulk's arc play out of being an uncontrollable monster into Mark Buffalo in Endgame, which basically became a hero that everybody loved and that little kids weren't scared to go up and ask for a picture from. So I think since most fans don't want to see Sony's universe converge with the MCU, although guys, I gotta admit, it's probably gonna happen. How do you have a Kraven movie and a Kraven character and not have Tom Holland interact with that character? It's unbecoming. And for the meantime, we should use Andrew for that Sony Spider-Man universe, okay? Have his arc play out in Venom 3. We know that's where Venom 3 was eventually going. They want Venom to meet Spider-Man eventually, and why not do that with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man? What's that you say? They're not in the same universe? Well, a simple retort to that is, who in the fuck cares? It's the Sony universe. They don't care about continuity or things that make sense. They can do whatever the fuck they want, in all honesty. I don't think it'd be that hard to say that they both existed in the same universe, in the Amazing Spider-Man universe. Morbius and Venom, we already know, are in the same universe, and I don't think it's that far-fetched to say that they could just merge those universes. It wouldn't really be that hard to play out, okay? I mean, Adrian Toomes is in the Morbius trailer and in that universe. So there's a lot of kooky things that are going on with that whole side of Marvel. And even though we got that PS4 Raimi suit on the wall, that doesn't mean that that couldn't be changed later. I mean, you know, Andrew Garfield wasn't pulling his punches like he said, so maybe they're going to replace that with Andrew Garfield's new suit. Who knows? I have a feeling, guys, that Morbius, although it's going to suck donkey balls, it's gonna be complete asshole, there's going to be some pivotal multiversal shit that's gonna be happening in that movie. I mean, you think about how close it is to Multiverse of Madness and how intricate this new deal with Sony will be for Spider-Man. I mean, come on, guys. They left the symbiote in the MCU. That is a very good indication that they have plans to continue working for a while, okay? They wouldn't just leave that, put that in a post-credit scene if that wasn't the case, honestly.
So ultimately, I think it's Sony's responsibility to solidly confirm that Andrew's universe is the same as Venom and Morbius's, and I think that we see Andrew Garfield in Venom 3, and that would be the movie that a lot of his arc will take place in. Maybe he even gets the symbiote for a little while, but rejects it in a very triumphant moment as he conquers his rage and accepts the death of Gwen Stacy and moves on and eventually gets together with MJ and starts to live his life. And I think that would be a very beautiful thing, a very triumphant thing, and that's what I want to see from Andrew. And I'm totally fine with him fighting Venom and Morbius, honestly. Like, I could give a fuck if Morbius ever meets Tom Holland Spider-Man, and Venom is already going to be in the MCU. I mean, a little piece of him is already in there, right? So I'm not concerned with this Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom, meeting Tom Holland's Spider-Man at all. I want the MCU to do whatever they want with Venom because I know it's going to be 10 times better. Just very excited to see what they do with that, but also I'm content with whatever Sony's going to do with Andrew Garfield. Hopefully they get some input from Marvel Studios. That's my idea for Venom 3, and we continue to see his arc play out until eventually he gets brought back together with the boys, Peter 1 and Peter 2, via Madam Web. I think that's ultimately the goal, unless Sony are, you know, donkey-brained again, which they've proven to be in the past, but that's why you have a Madam Web movie in the first place, right? It makes no sense if you're not going to bring him back together again. I think that's the primary reason we got that little bit of dialogue between him and Andrew in that lab scene, because they wanted to fill us in a little bit, but also foreshadow things to come and those moments to be brought to the big screen. That's what I firmly believe. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think we're ever going to get to see Andrew and Tobey again? Do you think Sony is just going to keep on doing missteps, or do you think, no, they've got this? Are you going to go see Morbius? Do you think Andrew Garfield's going to be in there? Do you think Andrew Garfield is going to be in Venom 3? Let me know all your thoughts about that and what you personally think Andrew Garfield, if he is brought back, what he should be doing, what comics you want his next moves to be inspired off of. That's it. If you like the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Hope you guys are well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.